Hey, coming up today, we have two members of the band Louden Swain. The band is an indie rock band from Los Angeles, fronted by actor musician Rob Benedict, who you may know from the shows Supernatural or Felicity, or the movie Waiting. Back here, one of my personal favorites. He's here with drummer Stephen Norton, who is literally down the road from me here in Arizona. And we're going to talk about the band's new album, shows, music videos, lyrics, and songwriting, and so much more. Stay right there. Okay, well, obviously, I know Rob's background, but I don't know yours, Stephen. So, I mean, other than you just told me that you're from LA for the last 20 years. So, what were you in? I know Louden Swain was since what, 98?
97 actually. So we just celebrated 25 years. In fact, on Halloween, that was our 25th anniversary of our first gig ever. So I grew up in Illinois, went to school at University of North Texas, which has this amazing music program down there. And I moved out to LA in 94, 95, somewhere around there. And met Rob and Mike about a year and a half later. And so Rob and I, one of my high school buddies, went to college with Rob. And so that's how I got introduced. So we were all in the same circle of friends, and Rob was having a party. I think his wife had just gotten her bar, past the bar or something. I can't remember what exactly it was for, but
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And so they were having a party, and they were like, he and a couple other guys were playing some music, and I remember saying to my buddy who introduced us, I was like, man, they're a really good band. Like I like the songs. I just remember liking the songs. It was like, it was a bunch of people hanging around, just getting drunk and having fun and playing music. So it wasn't anything, it wasn't like a serious gig. It was just guys hanging out, having fun. And I remember saying to my buddy, like, I love the songs, man. And then, a couple weeks later, he was like, hey, would you want to play with those guys? And I was like, yeah, man, that'd be great. So we got together, and 25 years later, here we are.
Dang. So what do you do other bands too, though? Because like when Rob's doing acting stuff, then you have like time to work on other things, or?
So this is my full time. So like I run a lot of the merch stuff out of my house, and and I take care of a lot of the just behind the scenes stuff for the band. And so so it's a full time thing for me.
Okay. So Rob, were you a musician first or actor at the same time, or how did your path go?
I was always acting was always my focus, and music was sort of my extracurricular activity. But I always had the intention of, I went to theater school, and then I graduated. I came right out to LA. I was really just very focused on having an acting career and trying to make that happen. But when with my free time, I'd get together and play with buddies. I had a band in high school, nothing extremely serious. But then, we started writing these songs together, and it became, we felt like they were really good songs. And then when Norton joined the group, it was like, well, then it was like a band, and I always kind of, in my mind, I always kind of put it sort of to the side, because to me, like, the band was something where we were creating something, and it didn't matter to me if we got radio play or people liked it or not. It was gratifying just to do it. And acting was, I took that so seriously, and there's a lot of rejection in acting, and it matters making it or not making it, because it's my bread and butter ultimately. So I just didn't want to have that pressure for the music, and I didn't want to spoil my love of music with putting that pressure. I'm like, we got it. But then everything evolved, and slowly one started feeding into the other, that people who maybe followed shows that I was on or movies I was in found out about the band, and then started following the band. And and one kind of fed into the other. And now we play a lot at the Supernatural conventions, which is pretty amazing. And it really is like bringing my two worlds together. And I don't think of music as extracurricular anymore. I'm really proud of what we do, and it's part of my, I guess it all kind of goes into the same pot, for me, just sort of my creative self.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I know like Billy Bob Thornton, I had him on, and that was all. He has a band. He was like a musician first. Same with like Johnny Depp, which I don't think I even knew that.
Wow.
But he was a musician first. and then he became an actor. So it's interesting. You're more of an actor first, and then the music was kind of a side fun thing, and now it's becoming more.
Yeah, I mean, I always loved music and musicians and kind of worshipped musicians in a way that I didn't think I was worthy enough to be in that group and even call myself a musician, and acting was really like I really put pressure on to do that. I just, as a young person, I wanted to be an actor. And I just, I never considered myself worthy enough as a musician, but obviously, now I do. But yeah, when I first started, I didn't consider myself a musician.
What musicians did you look up to? I was trying to figure out because your guys' sound is it's kind of eclectic, I would say. I mean, it's got definitely a sound to it, but I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm hearing like maybe a little Tom Petty, maybe some like rockabilly kind of stuff, maybe like kind of like some indie rock, like Death Cab for Cutie, or
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's all in there. It's definitely Tom Petty. I mean, Norton and our lead guitar player Billy Moran came from more like the hard rock world, and hair metal, but also Metallica and and even before that AC/DC, like
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. And the bass player Mike Borja and myself came from more of an indie rock background. Like we loved the Smiths and REM and I loved U2. So it really sort of those parts came together, and that's what our sound is. So it's a little bit of both of that, which I think Tom Petty is a good sort of in between of those two things. But yeah, so it's now we've all kind of listened to the same thing, but I've been drawn to indie music and eclectic music. That's how I always get inspired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard like even like maybe a little bit of the Shins. Is that
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love the Shins. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, and what I like about the Shins too is that like he's a really good lyricist, and you may not know what he's saying, and then you read the lyrics later, and you're like, oh, that's actually quite witty. He's really funny. So yeah, and I sort of pride myself on trying to write lyrics that have a sense of humor, but are also very raw and emotional.
So give me an example that like, what's one that you're really proud of with, because that is something that I never really pay attention to, is the lyrics, but if you look, you're like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. We have a song on the new record, called Guilty One that I'm kind of proud of. It really kind of, it pieces together sort of different things experiences that we actually did have. And they're all kind of things that wind up with me being the one who was guilty of the wrongdoing or whatever it was. But in the crafting of the song, I kind of created this character that's not necessarily me, but he's sort of a character that by the end of the song, he's kind of like, au revoir, mother effers. Like at the end of it, I like say that, like he's sort of like, yeah, I'm the guilty one. He's going to go out shooting. You know what I mean? He's like that kind of guy.
Okay. So, yeah, that's funny that you say that, because I listened to the new album, and that one in particular, it kind of had a little bit of that rockabilly vibe that I was saying. It sounded like honestly, it sounded like it would have fit really well with a Tarantino film, I thought.
Yes, for sure. And it's that kind of character. It's like, you're gonna have to, kill me if you want to catch me, But yeah, I kind of like the main story that came out of was that I got deported from England because we were touring and we went into London, and they busted us for not having a work permit.
Oh,
to play a gig there, which we played London so many times, we never got asked. And so we weren't ready for the question. And so we, like me and a couple of the dudes, spent 24 hours in a cell, and then they deported us back to LA. It was
wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Cause I've heard different things from bands about that. That sounds like such a nightmare doing all that. Yeah. Like I heard it's harder for people from Europe to come to America. America's like super strict with stuff like that. And they charge, don't they? I think they charge fees or something. Where do you have to pay when you go to Europe and stuff, or no?
If you want a permit, yeah. There's all kinds of stuff that you have to fill out, and so yeah. So the some people that we had done shows with over there throughout the years, like, yeah, it was always just sort of like, yeah, we're just gonna go over and play, and
yeah,
and like it was always the there was always the unspoken conversation, or mostly spoken conversation of like, if they ask, just tell them you're here for vacation. You brought your guitar to play music with your friends, you know? So,
Yeah.
They like handcuff you and like arrest you. Like
They didn't handcuff us. They were just like kind of like, you know, come with me. And then they put us in a cell with like without any of our belongings and pulled us out one by one and questioned us about our story to get our story straight. And it's a weird thing when you're in that position, you're like, oh shit, am I a criminal? Like, am I, you know what I mean? Like,
is that the only time you've been in jail?
What's that?
Is that the only time you've ever been in jail?
That's the second time I've been in jail.
Wait, so what was the first time? Was that in America or?
That was in America. That was about 15 years ago. I had a
youthful indiscretion.
Yeah, it was it was just exactly. Youthful indiscretion. Had to do with drinking and then driving an automobile, that kind of thing.
But no one got hurt.
Yeah,
no one got hurt.
People are so judgmental, but I feel like everybody's probably driven under the influence when they shouldn't have. Maybe they just didn't get a DUI, but I'm sure everybody's had maybe if it's even one extra glass of wine that's over the legal limit, and then they got away with it.
Yeah, that was before pre Uber days, right? I mean,
yeah.
So it's like,
and I actually blew the exact limit. I was like just drunk. I blew a 0.08, which is like that's the legal level.
Like if you had waited 5 minutes, you would have been fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what my friend told me you're supposed to do is you're supposed to say, look, I'll answer any of your questions, but if you want me to, I won't take, you're not supposed to do any of the tests and you're not supposed to take the breathalyzer. You make them arrest you and take you down to the station because time is your friend. And by the time you get down there, you might be not.
Yeah. Especially if you're close. Yeah.
I would have known if I could go back.
And nowadays, just Uber.
Well, that's probably the better thing. Yeah,
we always tell everyone, like, we just did a show last weekend, and we were like, if you can Uber to the show, Uber to the show. Like,
So does that affect? That doesn't affect your acting gigs. People are like they don't look at your resume and do background checks for acting and stuff, right?
Well, actually, they do when you go when you work in Canada. You have to have the work permit, and they do a full check on you, and you can't have, if you've been arrested, it does work against you. But for me, ultimately, I got the charge. They what was it called? What's it called? Like downgraded the charge.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Expunged? Did they take it off your record?
Well, ultimately, they took it off my record because after like 8 years, it goes off your record. But also, it doesn't say DUI. It was like reckless driving. Yeah.
Okay.
Alcohol related. So that was on my on my record for a little bit, but now it's gone. Now it's
that's good. That doesn't. I mean, because I feel like if you're a band like Motley Crue, then you want like a rest. You're like the more chaos and crazy. But if you're an indie rock, I guess it probably doesn't really work against you that much either. But probably doesn't work for you either.
Yeah, but it makes good. It's good for song lyrics.
Good for stories, bad for touring. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
What was the song? I don't think it was on the new record. It might have been an older song. There's actually one that I was paying attention to the lyrics because it was like something about Oasis, and you were talking about the band Oasis, and you were talking about that, but I can't remember what song it was. I thought I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't.
Romance, I think.
Yeah, Foolish Romance. Yeah.
Yes.
Even Noel left the game. Or even Liam left the game. Don't make me your Noel. Anyway, I have an Oasis reference. Yeah. Just a 90s, talking about 90s rock. And I like to do that kind of thing, like have just sort of really specific references. I just think that's kind of fun or funny in a song. So I mentioned Noel and Liam Gallagher in my song, talking about, someone who rocks out to 90s, to 90s rock, 90s pop rock.
Yeah, those guys don't get along very well, or anymore, right? Is it still broken up? They've been broken up for a long time, right?
We saw them open for the Who. We saw them open for the Who like 3 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, they did like a few shows together. Yeah, Borja, our bass player, and I, and I think maybe our guitar player was with us as well. But we went and saw the Who, and those guys, Oasis was opening, and like the worst part was we only got like one song of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we man, the last song. So
because I heard they just hate each other. It's just like this.
They do
spite between. That's going to be rough if you're in a band. Hopefully, obviously, you guys don't have that in Louden Swain, right?
I mean, we've had our shares of arguments over the years, but it's like we're brothers at this point. You know, it's like 25 years in, you just go like, if you get in an argument with someone, you go like, F that guy for the day, and then you might.
For sure, we have our share of fights, but nothing like you hear about the Gallaghers or the Black Crow brothers.
Yeah, we've never thrown punches at each other, and we've never thrown punches at each other, and it's never gotten worse than like just some heated yelling.
And in fact, when shit goes down with one of us, the other three are always there for that person. That's what's always been great about our band. Like, we've gone through a lot of personal struggles, and the other three are like, we'll drop anything to help you out, and we really have a bond that way.
Yeah, talk about that, because that's something that was in the press release. How like you went through a divorce. Somebody lost their father. Was that the guitar player?
That was the bass player, Mike.
Bass player. Sorry, and then
right in the middle of COVID. Yeah.
And then you, Stephen, were battling colon cancer. I mean, how are you even there for each other when you got to be there for yourselves?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, right, life's going to throw some shit at you, and at some point you just go, you go like, okay, this is my support group, and this is who matters in my life, and we've been really good about like, taking somebody aside and just saying like, hey, look, like, do this or don't do this, or like, hey man, if you need us, like, we're here. And so, for me, it was like, I played a show 2 weeks after I had surgery, and luckily for me, like, mine turned out fine, and like, I'm healthy and I'm in a good place. But like, it was that thing on the Sunday, on the third day of our show that weekend, it was like, I couldn't go, and these guys just went. They took over and like, let me rest, and so it was, and it's great to have that kind of support where you go like, look, if I can't do something, I know these guys are going to have my back, and I know that like they're just going to be there for me, and we've all done that for everybody. It's like when anybody's had problems, man, it's like we're like, look, man, if you need to talk, if you need anything, you let us know. And that's just I think it says a lot about, I think, who we are as people, and just sort of like the amount that we've invested in each other, Yeah,
it sounds like a family. It's more than just a band.
For sure.
You guys aren't like these big bands that are touring separate buses or whatever, that like hate each
exactly.
No, you guys are actually having fun together and there for each other. And
we just did a thing where we showed up to get picked up for a thing that I don't think we can talk about yet, but they sent 4 different cars, 4 different sedans to pick up the band, and we ended up, they were small cars, so we ended up 2 and 2. But it was like, we got phone calls from the people that were arranging it, and they're like, hey, how come you weren't in your car? And we're like, what do you mean?
We went together. We didn't think
we went together. Like, why would you send 4 cars for 4 guys that have just spent the entire weekend together and are going to spend the whole next 5 days together? It's like, so that stuff never makes sense to us. And we're all just like, oh, you mean people get individual cars and do their own thing? No.
Drama.
So
with all the stuff you guys have been through, that some of that must be reflected in the songwriting, right? So tell me about the song Sleepyhead. That sounded like that came from a place of emotion, dark place, possibly.
Yeah, that's a good example of like, how we're always co-writing, and that is Norton wrote the music for that, and sent it to me. And a lot of my lyrics are very emotional, and for that, when I don't write the music, it's just like where it takes me, and that was sort of the origin of that song. Just feeling a certain way, and just wanting to go to sleep, just wanting to sleep it off and not have to tackle your issues. But yeah, that came from this very emotional music that Norton had written, which has been great. Which is great about this new album too. There was I think even more collaboration. Norton wrote a couple of the songs, and Billy wrote a couple of the songs, and Mike, the bass player, wrote one. But yeah, so it was very collaborative that way.
Yeah, that's cool. That's like the last song, but the first song is such a different, it's a contrast. I love that one. It's like kind of a rock, and it's kind of like a White Stripes vibe. I really like, did he write that? The bass player write that? Because it's got such a really cool bass line at the beginning.
I actually wrote that song, but
okay.
Again, that's one of the things, Wine and Roses is the song. And that's one of the things that I love about this band is like, I mean, I write the song, but like we always say like music by Louden Swain because I hand it to them and then they do their thing with it. So yeah, Mike, whatever Mike's playing on that, that's that's Mike being at his best. But yeah. So yeah, I really like the way that one came out too, and it's a great rocker.
Yeah, and then the song that's out now that people can check out, There's the Rub. There's a song and a video. Great song, well written, good chorus, good like build up with the piano and stuff. But the video, tell me about that, because there's like, I was confused. I'm like, this is like some sort of artistic thing I don't get. There's like, it's like a girl singing, but this is clearly not the singer of the song. So what's going on with the video?
Steve, you want to take that?
Yeah, so that was our friend Kim Rhodes, who was in Supernatural with Rob. She was also in she played the mom in The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and she's been a dear friend of ours for years and years. And we were in
Washington
D.C. we were staying at the
Watergate.
Yeah, the Watergate Hotel, and we were there for a show, and we were like, we've been talking amongst ourselves. We were like, man, we got to get a video done. Because we got to get something, and we were like, I don't know when we're gonna have time to do it. And so our bass player Mike sat down with Kim, who had heard the song. He had played the song for Kim, and Kim was like, I love this song. It speaks to me. I want to do the video. She's like, tell me what you want, and we'll do it. And so Mike just started filming stuff in the lobby, and then we had a show at a little club that weekend that we filmed the live stuff for. And so we just sort of pieced it together. And I think and Rob can probably speak better about the lyrics and sort of, I think he mentioned that earlier about where the lyrics are coming from. But I think Kim sort of took that chorus of, you're scared, you're impaired, and sort of just jumped on that, and then used her range as an actress to just really like kill it, man. I mean, everything that you see in that video, like that's her crying on command, and like, I mean, she's amazing. Like, she was great. So yeah, she
yeah, and and the song is, it's I'm kind of talking to myself really. I'm sort of reaching out and looking at myself in a very vulnerable moment where I'd sort of been over imbibing and kind of reaching for something else via alcohol and partying, and I'm reaching out to myself going, I see you, basically. I see you, and I know, you're impaired, you're scared. These are the lyrics of the song. And Kim, that really spoke to Kim because of things that she's been through. And so, yeah, so the video winds up, it's me watching her singing the lyrics to me. And then it kind of winds up with us playing the song live. But yeah, that's kind of where that came from, is she's almost this voice that's reaching out and saying to me, hey, I see you. And then in the video, I'm watching her on the screens.
Yeah, it's almost like she's his inner monologue.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. I'm so bad at like deciphering those kinds of things. I'm like,
videos,
I like it. It's a cool song. I was just like, I'm confused. Like, it was interesting. I liked it. But then you have I was going through your YouTube, and there was another song that you guys did a video for, Gamma Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I just had a question though, because like the cute blonde in the video, is that, I swear that looked like Margot Robbie. My girlfriend's like, no, her eyebrows are different. Is that her, or is it just a lookalike? Because she looks like Margot Robbie. Does she not?
It is not Margot Robbie. But yeah, and to be honest, the producer of the video, or the director of the video, oh god, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Wasn't that your
yes,
friend,
he worked with me he directed me in a short film. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name either.
That was literally like 9 years ago now. So
yeah, those are his people, right?
Yeah, so he filmed that stuff separately from the band. So we never met those people. We didn't, or maybe they were. If we did,
they were there. They were there.
They were there at the end. They were there at the end for one short scene, but I think we met them for maybe 5-10 minutes, and it was a quick video shoot. We did it in a single day, and he did some stuff separately, before that. And but that is not Margot Robbie. Yeah,
it does kind of look like her though, right? Am I crazy?
Like her.
Yeah, it does. No, it does look like her, definitely.
Yeah, that must be cool to have access to all these actresses and actors and directors and things. That really is a big help with music videos, especially, right?
We've been super fortunate, like a couple of Rob's friends that he's worked with on other projects have like reached out to us at various times and said like, hey, I want to do this with you guys. Like our All I Need video, which was like the first real music video that we made. A buddy of Rob's from St. Louis reached out to us and was like, hey, I want to do this. And he sent us a whole bunch of ideas and we got together one day in LA. And so, yeah, it's been super amazing to have those. I mean, quite honestly, like half of the things that this band does is because of the opportunities that we've gotten from our friends. It's like, we've been very lucky in that like, people ask us all the time, like, hey, will you come do this show? Will you come work on this? Will you come, will you write a song for this? And it's like, yeah, we've been super fortunate for that, and
that's where the both of my worlds kind of play into each other, and kind of, the guy that directed All I Need video, he directed me in a movie in St. Louis, and he became a fan of the band and wanted to, do a video for the band, it's fun when those two worlds can kind of interact that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the one? I can't find it. I thought I wrote it down. There was one song that you guys put. It's in a movie, right? Isn't that more like an early one?
A Little Help or
A Little Help? Maybe?
Okay,
I did a movie with Jenna Fischer.
Yes, that's what it was.
A Little Help, yeah. And we wrote the song for that movie called Help You.
Yeah. So will you do more of that too? Putting your these songs off the new album into movies? Is that a hard process to?
Not really. I mean, if it's a big studio movie, that's harder more hoops to jump through. But if it's more of an indie movie, and with the Jenna Fischer movie, I just become close with the director just in the process of doing the movie, and then we kind of wrote the song like on spec. Like I didn't, he didn't say, he didn't commission the song. We Billy had this guitar part and I wrote lyrics that had to do with this movie, so I played it for the director and he's like, oh my god, this is going in the movie. But then there are other things, like I did this indie movie this summer, and they just called and wanted to use a Louden Swain song, and that one of our newer songs. So yeah, it's great when that happens as much as possible. We had like 3 songs that were in Supernatural. But yeah, as much as possible, I'd love being able to do that.
That is really cool. So yeah, because the band is named after the character from the movie Vision Quest or whatever. But explain like the other names that you guys had. You had some funny ones, like was this one the Elastic Waistband? Isn't that what this band was originally called? And then
that was like a joke. That was like a joke. We when we started doing the conventions and they approached us about playing at the conventions, in the convention, we would do concerts as ourselves, but then they wanted us to sort of be the house band during the day. And at that time we were like, we don't really want to be known as a house band or like a cover band, because that's just not us. So we created these alter egos and called ourselves the Elastic Waistband.
Hank Plank and the 2x4s,
exactly.
Bill Dill and the Pickles. Like, it sounds kind of funny. Did you have like wigs and costumes or something too?
Yeah, we did. We had a whole thing. We had we all had wigs and polyester jumpsuits, and we all had nickname. Like our bass player was Sir Richard Furlong, and and our guitar player was Johnny High Pockets.
High Pockets, yeah.
And you're Hot Carl. Or
Hot Carl.
Don't Google that, folks.
And I was
Robbie? What was yours? Yours was
Tango.
Tango, yeah.
No last name. Yeah, and it was it was just, the joke was we'd always say we like voted the
third best band fifth best band in Las Vegas in 20. It's like fifth best cover band in Las Vegas in 20.
out of 3 bands.
Out of 3 bands, yeah, we were the third best.
Anyway, but that was kind of a joke, and then we shed that eventually, because then we kind of just want to be ourselves again. But
yeah.
And so now do you play mostly originals, but you throw in some covers when you do live shows?
Yeah, we're if you see us at a club, we're all originals. But if we play the conventions, we do this thing called the Saturday Night Special, which kind of modeled after like The Last Waltz, where it's like us playing our music, but then actors from the show will come on, maybe 2 or 3 actors during a 90-minute show will come on, and they'll sing covers with us.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun for the fans of the show to see, because we have a lot of very talented actors who are singers from Supernatural. So yeah, it's fun for the fans.
Yeah, like our buddy Jensen Ackles really kind of kicked it off, and he always takes it to another level because his status is such that when he does something, a lot of people pay attention. But it's been great for us because it's like, he recorded a song with us, a cover song with us, and it was one that he had done at a whole bunch of, that we, when we did our live record, and yeah, it's just amazing, man. Like there's so many talented people on that circuit, and you don't know. I don't think everybody always realizes that a lot of actors started out doing musical theater or doing other types of stuff, and so they're pretty comfortable behind a microphone. And and if nothing else, they can act like singers, and and they can pull it off. And man, we've had some people who aren't who aren't the most comfortable singers go out and just kill it, man, and they're just great. And so we're really fortunate that we've got friends who are willing to put themselves out there and go do that stuff, because it excites, especially at those conventions. It excites the fans, and really helped us build a fan base through that kind of stuff.
So a lot of the fans are fans of the Supernatural show, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a crossover. It's like, we've got a fan base, and a lot of them have come to us from that that area.
Yeah, and you're opening for the actor Jensen, his band Radio Company. You have a show lined up with him in Nashville?
Yeah, in Nashville at a club called Analog, which I think only seats about 300 people, and I think it sold out in about 5 minutes. So
wow.
Yeah, so it was it's going to be a super fun night, and it'll be just before Christmas, and it'll be a great time. So yeah.
And you guys have done shows at the Viper Room before too. I wanted to get your take on that, because I heard they're tearing that place down. That's kind of sad.
Oh, really? Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It's like with all the construction that goes on Hollywood Boulevard these days, and Sunset. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to play there a lot. That was my favorite place to play on the Sunset Strip for sure.
Yeah.
We liked that spot. It was just the sound was always really good, and
the room's a nice size, right? Like it's like, I think it seats just over 200 people or something, and it's awesome, man. The energy in there is great when you pack them in. So
yeah.
Can you guys do like a full tour, or is that too hard with Rob's acting schedule to plan that?
We do like mini tours. We'll do like, where we'll do like Boston, New York, or, we've even like gone down the coast and just done New York, Boston, Virginia, Atlanta.
Yeah. We try to
Florida.
Yeah, it's like a lot of times we try to book that stuff where we're flying in for a weekend, doing a couple of shows, and then flying out, and then that way it gives Robbie time to do his acting stuff when that's on the schedule as well, and it allows us to, and it allows the guys to still have a family life, and we're fortunately at this point where we can afford to do that, and make it work. So
is Supernatural, is that the show that you're most recognized for?
It depends. I mean, I get a lot from the poster right behind you.
I love that movie. That's why I said yes. Confession. I was like, I saw your name and I was like looking it up. I was like, he's Calvin from I was like, I love that movie. I love your character in that. I think it's brilliant. Like, do you still like that movie, or is it like canceled now? I don't know. Cause I think it's funny.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I love that people love it. I had such a great memory of filming it, because we all were kind of living that life off camera. We were really like partying a lot and really got along well. Justin Long became a good friend, as did Anna Faris, and Ryan was great. We just all really got along with each other. So we were in New Orleans. So it was, and we're all a lot younger, pre-kids. So it was fun. It was a really, really fun time. So I love that people love it.
Did you think when you made it, like like Anna Faris and Ryan Reynolds are going to be huge stars, and this movie's going to be like a cult classic? Or
I mean, that's what we kind of hoped. I remember making it and telling people it's kind of like an office space for restaurants, and hoping that it would be that. But at the same time, yeah, we're all like, this could be something that no one ever sees. We really just didn't really know.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many waiters, how many people working in restaurants come up to Rob, and at the end of the meal, they're like, love you in waiting, man.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Seriously. If you work in a restaurant, you haven't seen that movie, like you're missing out. Just like if you work in an office and you haven't seen Office Space. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I love it. And I love it. It seems to still be kind of a cult favorite of waiters. So yeah, it's great.
That one, and then you were on Felicity for a while, and
Yeah, I was on Felicity, and yeah, that gets with the older crowd will remember me from Felicity, and Supernatural. You know, Supernatural has such a big fan base and really kept that show on the air for 15 seasons, and so yeah, that's a big one too.
yeah, I haven't even seen it. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to watch an episode. Love the new album. I'm now a fan of the band. So
That's
sweet.
awesome.
I hope I can see you guys live. I know you're coming to Phoenix, but it's at that convention, right?
Yeah. But
okay.
if you want to come
But
out,
you can come.
yeah, you can come out to that concert on Saturday night, and
Okay.
you know, it starts at 9, 9:15, I think is usually when we go on stage, and like it'll be a 90-minute show, and yeah, you can just come out to that, man. We'd be happy to have you, and be great to see you.
Okay. Yeah, I know you guys have a Hard Out soon, so I just want to always end with a charity, and I think you guys, there was one now, your publicist sent it, now I forgot what it was, but you want to promote, I always promote a charity at the end. Is there something? I think it was the Stroke Association,
Yeah,
right?
the American Stroke Association. Yeah, I had a stroke at a convention actually in 2013, and so that's, you know, it's a cause that's near and dear to my heart, and so fortunately I recovered, and one of the reasons I recovered so quickly is that I got to the hospital fast, and so you know, it's very important to recognize the causes of a stroke and to get to the hospital as soon as you can. So
Yeah, what is that? There's like an acronym or something. I forget what it is.
Yeah, FAST.
Fast. And how what does that stand for? Like
F is face,
okay.
arms.
So if you can't move your face or your arms,
Right, or like there's drooping in your face. Yeah, you can't.
One side or the other.
Arms, if you can't like move one of your arms up. S is speech, like slurring your
you can't
speech.
talk. Yeah.
You can't talk. That was me. I had aphasia. I couldn't speak at all. And then T is time, or it's also tongue, because if you stick your tongue out and it kind of goes to one side, that's a sign of a stroke.
Yes, that's what it is. That's the big one. If you stick the tongue out. Okay.
Yeah.
Good for people to know. I will put that link in the show notes along with the band website, and people can check. There's some shows lined up besides Phoenix. There's some other, like the Nashville one we mentioned, some other ones, and who knows when people will listen to this. Could be 5 years from now. So check the website. Follow you guys on social media. Anything else you want to promote?
No, man.
We got gigs all next year, and
got a full slate, and the new album comes out Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, it comes out this Friday. Okay, yeah, because I think the date looks like it kind of changed a little bit, right? Or no?
November 11th has been the date.
Yep, that's been the date. Okay.
There was like a pre-order date, and there was some other stuff. So, but yeah,
Feelings and Such is the new one.
That's right.
And because there's another one that's already out. I think that was called Foolish. That one's already out right now, and Feelings and Such comes out. Perfect. All right, we'll let you guys get to your next interview. Thanks so much for doing this.
Hey, thanks,
you, man. Chuck.
Appreciate
it.
Really appreciate
Talk to you later.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Again, thank you to Rob and Stephen. Check out this band if you like melodic indie rock. They are doing shows throughout the country, and the new album is called Feelings and Such. Check out their music videos on YouTube, and you can subscribe to their YouTube channel and also my channel. We recently hit 1,500 subscribers, and I know that's not a lot compared to other channels, but I am very grateful as I worked really hard to get here, and I hope I can keep it going. So I appreciate your support. If you want to support the show, again, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, your likes, comments, and shares on social media and YouTube. They help the show and they help the guests, so more people will learn of both of those things. Thank you again. Have a great day and shoot for the moon.